Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Education Before Medication podcast. Our goal with this show is to really just introduce you to concepts, information, and ideas that can actually help you take back control of your health. So join us once a month where me, Dr. Maria, and my friend and healthcare expert Tas will be having a conversation about lifestyle medicine and how you can leverage your habits to create powerful change in your health and in your family's health. Hey guys, Dr. Maria here. I just wanted to quickly jump in and let you know that this episode that you're about to listen to was an Instagram live that we did, so the format is a little bit different, but the information in it is as crucial, and we felt called to add this to one of our episodes. So just sit down, relax, and enjoy it.
Okay, so we are talking about mineral deficiency. Would you like to get this started, Maria?
Yes, absolutely. So every single day this week, we've done a live related to a relevant topic that is really important that you start being aware of so you can change your health. And today we wanted to go into minerals and mineral deficiency and how the soil health is related to our mineral deficiency and how can we go about that and improve our mineral content. So that's what we wanted to do today.
Perfect.
And I guess that I can start by saying that the reason why it's so important that we talk about that is our cells, on a daily basis, there's over like 37 billion reactions in the body. I don't even know how much that is. It's a billion, it's double billion. And every one of those reactions needs enzymes to happen. And those enzymes to function need minerals. So minerals are very attached to everything that your body needs to properly function. And what we're currently seeing is actually an epidemic of mineral deficiency. And we know that even just a small amount of insufficiency can lead to really big problems. That's why we need to be talking about this. We need to make people aware that they need to look into their mineral content and not just their protein content, because it's something that we overly obsess with when we really don't have to. So one of the biggest reasons for low minerals right now includes industrial agriculture. Other things like medication, insulin resistance, and inflammation also are into the problem, but it's like compounded, right? We get less minerals from our food because we're using all of these chemicals like glyphosate. And we also, are doing things in our diet like processed foods, drugs, inflammatory lifestyles, lack of sleep, and all of that depletes the storage that we already have. So, the statistics actually are mind-blowing, Taz. I'm going to tell you. I'm usually talking about America just because statistics are bigger there, because the disease is even bigger there. But it's 1 in 3 Americans, 1 in 3 that is deficient in key minerals. And we can see incredible changes actually just by adding back the minerals in their diets. And we can see like them completely reversing problems that they had. So just by doing that one thing, adding back the minerals.
I would even add it's higher than 1 in 3. Know? Yeah, because the mineral deficiency comes in all forms.
Continue.
How would someone look like if they are mineral deficient?
Oh my gosh, there's so many clues. For example, even just dry hair can be mineral deficiency. If you touch like the bone on your leg, I forget the name of that bone in English, but if you just press down on the bone and it hurts, mineral deficiency. Mm-hmm. Having weird spots on your skin can be mineral deficiency. There can be tons of things that suggest it. But for example, magnesium. Magnesium is a great one. And again, 68% of Americans are deficient in magnesium. 68%, which means that they're simply not getting enough in their daily diets. And guess what's the most powerful relaxation mineral that we have available? Magnesium. So most people are deficient on it, and it's one of the best antidotes for stress relief because, again, they're not getting enough. And I would say that, for example, if one of the big keys and things that show that you could be magnesium deficient is irritability in your mood, being crampy, in your body, just being tight, being sore. Those are big signs of magnesium deficiency.
Insomnia,
because magnesium is crucial for your sleep. Again, once you go to bed, what you want your body to be able to do is relax. start activating that relaxation. If you're lacking magnesium, it'll be really hard for you to do that.
And magnesium is really important to push waste out of the colon. So if you don't have enough magnesium, you won't be depositing properly.
Indeed. And that's like the biggest reasons. Again, not only are we missing it from our soil, we're not eating enough because our diets are what? Refined diets, processed diets, mostly white flour, mostly meat, mostly dairy, all of which have no magnesium available for you. So when was the last time that you actually had a good dose of sea vegetables, or seaweed as we call it? When was the last time that you had nuts, greens, beans, all of these powerful foods? Like any green leafy vegetable is great for magnesium. When is the last time that you did that? Like most people are, and if they eat nuts, Taz, I'm sure that you know about that, it's going to be peanut butter or peanut butter cups, and that's their nut intake. So we have to broaden what we eat, and we have to think instead of I always say this, when you look at your plate, instead of thinking, do I have enough protein and carbs? Think, do I have enough vitamin C? Do I have enough magnesium? Do I have enough selenium that can be from one Brazil nut? And why I say that, for example, is selenium has now been shown to not exist in the soil in many parts of the world, to fully not exist anymore, because we have destroyed that part of the soil that contains those minerals and those microbes. Before actually I can explain a little bit more about the soil, but what do you have to add, Taz?
Well, that is very surprising how now we don't even have these natural resources that we're supposed to have in our soil, such as selenium, right? We can only find it in Brazil nuts. And like what you were saying about the soil quality and the minerals, wait, I forget. I wanted to talk about macros. Okay, I find that we concentrate too much on our macros and not enough on the micros. And the micros are indeed what we're talking about right now, the mineral deficiency. And we all go through it. And you know what? As we always been talking about, we start normalizing how we've been feeling. And we don't even associate that with being something that's happening in the body. And our bodies need each type of minerals to work. They all work together.
Indeed. Let me take you one step further. We all know what the mitochondria is, or most people know what the mitochondria is. It's pretty much, we learned this from biology, and it's a very simplistic way of talking about the mitochondria, but it's the powerhouse of the cell, which means that it's like it always needs to be at its peak performance because it's what's providing the energy that you need. So pretty much, like, put it in lay terms, it takes the food that we eat, transforms it into ATP, which is energy. And guess how the ATP is made? It's made in the mitochondria through the Krebs cycle. And what does the Krebs cycle use in every single point of that cycle? Tons of minerals and tons of vitamins. So your mitochondria cannot function if your diet is poor in those minerals and vitamins. And I would debate, and actually I don't have to debate that, but the key to anti-aging is having a fully functioning mitochondria. If you have dysfunction, you're aging really fast.
But that's exactly what it's all about, right? We need to reverse. What we've been doing is reverse aging, yes, right? And we can do that by having our mitochondria in homeostasis, in the most ideal conditions. And this morning I was talking about, how the lymphatic system is designed to flush toxins out, right? Is that the whole point of the lymphatic system? It's to get rid of waste, and it goes through our kidneys. And a lot of times we keep piling it up, and our lymphatic system, it has become a complete garbage dump, right?
Yes. And most people don't have a functioning lymphatic system because we need movement for it to work. We need movement. And what are we doing all day long? Sitting and working in front of our computers. So you can't even have that capability of like fluxing it out. So again, exercise is also very important here. But I wanted to say that actually I just had a blank what I wanted to say, but please do continue.
Okay, so I wanted to mention when you were talking about the nuts, okay, and you were talking about peanut butter, okay? Peanut butter is contains a lot of mold, okay? It's a legume, as is cashews. So cashews and peanut butter are something that are not my go-to nuts, right? Because they have so much mold. I mean, only buy it organic and look at the non-salted ones. Look at the raw version. I love almonds, a raw almond. You know, you could season it how you want, maybe add some date sugar, but look for always the raw variety in your nuts because it's very easy to saturate this with salt or sugar, and then this becomes not a health food.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Yeah, I support that. One of the biggest reasons I don't recommend peanuts and cashews as the first, like, go for nuts and eat nuts, it's because of that. They contain a lot of a mold toxin because of the way we farm and the way you produce things, and you can't, it's going to be extremely dangerous for your body if you continuously consume a lot of peanuts and cashews that are full of this toxin. So just go for, pistachios, go for almonds, go for
Walnuts.
Walnuts is the brain food, yeah. So yeah, all of those first, and then once in a while you can eat these nuts for sure, but not every single day.
Exactly. I know I used to have a peanut butter addiction.
Same.
With a spoon straight to my mouth.
Yeah, it's super easy. Especially those full of oils and sugars. It's everything but peanuts. And people are putting that in white bread and thinking that that's a great source of protein. And there you go with the inflammation. There you go with the leaky gut. There you go with not absorbing minerals because your gut is inflamed and full of problems. So yeah.
You know, you were talking about something about bones, right? If your bone hurts, this is mineral deficiency. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. Because I had a call this morning, and I know that a lot of people are always curious to know, like, how does that work? How does bone health work? What does mineral deficiency mean to my life, and why is it important?
Again, it's every single process, molecular process that's happening in your body needs those cofactors to work. Needs those cofactors to put those minerals, build those bones, maintain bone density. If you don't have enough magnesium, enough vitamin K, enough vitamin D, which is great and very important for the bone because you need vitamin D for calcium. If you don't have those, the processes can no longer work. What is happening then? But your bone is not being able to be supported, and with time you get things like osteoporosis, where it's degradation of the bone and the porosis inside the bone. And actually, you talked about exercise. The biggest, most important thing for bone health is actually exercise, weight-bearing exercise. So anything with weight is how you maintain bone health. Without exercise like that, you cannot have healthy bones, even if you have the perfect diet, because that's how it works. Bone density is with weight-bearing exercise.
So I wanted to talk also about, when it comes to bone density, it actually connects to your thyroid. A lot of people don't understand this, that they look at the bone density by itself, but it's all regulated through your thyroid and your parathyroid.
Can you go more about that?
Okay, sure. Okay, so you know the whole lymphatic system that secretes the waste? So this is directly stimulated from your thyroid, okay? So it depends on how much minerals that you have, because this is what's producing your osteoblasts, right? So this is like creating more bones in our body. You are losing a little bit bones every single time you do a workout, every single time you go up the stairs. This is normal, okay? It's a little bit of degradation each and every time, but the body knows how to regrow these, right? By secreting all of our minerals. And if our gut health is not to the optimal level, we would not be secreting these properly. We will not be absorbing this properly. So then the lymphatic system, it's not getting those calcium that it's looking for. They're not getting these nutrients that it's looking for. So what happens? is that it takes all of these toxins instead of they're taking all these toxins instead of the calcium, the minerals. So what happens? Inflammation happens. Our body starts to retain water. And you're like, how is this happening? It's because of your gut health.
Yeah. Gut health is, we go check the lives that we did before. We talked about gut health and how that works. So that'll be a great one for you to listen to. But gut health is the foundation, people. You're sick, you're tired, you're fatigued, something is not functioning in your life, look at your gut health first. It's always a first approach. And don't be fooled to not, for someone saying that that's not the first approach. Always get your gut working properly first, because everything's connected to the gut.
Exactly. Your immunity is your gut health. If something's happening to your thyroid, look at your gut health. That means you're not absorbing something properly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead.
No, please finish.
How many of us eat a salad that we think we're doing our body good, right?
Yeah, I wanted to go into that too, because you're very good with solutions and how people can bring more of those nutrients into their bodies. And I was about to tell you that actually over the past 50 years, there's been such a rapid decline in the mineral content in fruits and vegetables, and even in grains. Like one survey reported that I think it was like vegetables and fruits had less zinc in them for 60%, so 60% less zinc in those fruits and vegetables that you're thinking you're getting your zinc from. I think magnesium was less than 30%, and iron, this actually shocked me. Iron in foods was now less, 83% compared to 50 years ago. I was like, what? And then a similar published study actually reported, because the USDA actually has been tracking the crops since 1890 something. And they found that protein, calcium, iron, phosphorus, and vitamin B2, vitamin C, all of these have dramatically decreased. So what would you say to someone who's now making the effort to go to the store, buy nuts, seeds, grains, vegetables, fruits, but they're buying these fruits that have less than 50% of what their body needs? How can they make sure that they're eating enough?
Okay, so this is key, okay? This is the absorption issue, okay? So you can go and buy all of these things, but if your body is not absorbing it, that's the real culprit here, okay? So should we get into our solutions?
Yes, start.
Okay, solutions. Okay, this is my favorite part because I always love bringing you all solutions. We need to start absorbing all of these micronutrients. We need to start flooding our body with nutrient-dense food. But how? How? We need to repair our gut. You know, when we are buying all of these salads, all of these greens, all the nuts that you're talking about, and then sometimes, you know what happens? You start feeling more pain. Has that ever happened? You have a salad and you're like, oh, my stomach hurts. I feel worse. I don't understand what's going on. I'm not feeling great. So then I ask, I'm like, was that an organic salad? And then I get, oh, of course it was not, but it was a salad. So you think you're doing your body good, right? Well, let me enlighten you. If it's not an organic salad, it's full of toxins, right, Maria?
Yes, pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, glyphosate, which is destroying the world little by little. So go ahead. What's the solution to that, Tas? Because you have one, a really good one.
Exactly. Okay, so what I love to recommend to my friends, families, my clients, everyone around me is you need biomedic. Okay? And what is biomedic, right? What does it mean? What is it? This is what it is. It actually removes 74% of glyphosate in your system.
And like you mentioned the other day that I wasn't aware, it helps repair the lining of the gut, which is what you need to be intact in order for all of those toxins to not leak in your body.
Can you explain that a bit?
I explain more of
about leaky gut and what's the importance of that.
Yes, so when you continuously damage the gut with your actions, with your lifestyle, with the foods that you choose, with improper sleep, with pretty much everything that you create in your life, you are damaging the gut to the point that those barriers that should be there, impeding the toxins from going from here to here and just flushing it out while you poop, those things now start leaking in because this is damaged. Like there's no more barrier. So like you're getting all those pesticides, all those herbicides, those heavy metals, it's all coming in. So it's called leaky gut on purpose so that the person can understand what's happening inside them. So when that happens, guess where all of these problems are going to start appearing? You have pain in your elbow. You can't walk very well because your knee is giving you weird inflammation. You have brain fog. It damages the nervous system in ways that I won't go into it, but it's extremely damaging and can even lead to Alzheimer's, for example, in the long term. So yeah, I think that's probably enough. But a leaky gut is when you damage your gut and everything starts to come in. So what you want is what Taz was talking about. You want something to help you heal that lining of the gut and at the same time remove those toxins while you are making the lining healthy again.
Exactly. And now you can finally be able to absorb all the nutrient dense food that you're eating. And your nutrient dense food needs to be high alkalizing food because that's how our body stays in homeostasis, right? Our body's fighting to stay in this neutral pH.
Yes. We need an alkaline lifestyle. And that is reducing your coffee amount. I know everyone loves coffee, but listen, if you can't compromise on coffee, start compromising on everything else. Less alcohol, less processed foods, even just less sugar in general from all of these. You know, if it's ice cream, if it's a gummy bear, if it's a chocolate, like start going for those if you can start with coffee right away. Because I see people depend on coffee. So they have a hard
So I have a trick for coffee. Okay. So if you are a huge caffeine addict, okay. So like I'm a former caffeine addict. I have to say, my name is Taz and I used to be a caffeine addict.
I'm Maria and I'm used to be a caffeine addict.
I love it. And now I'm completely coffee free. You too, Maria?
Yes. I'm completely coffee free, but once in a while, because I love the taste, not what I get from the coffee, I do treat myself to a little coffee. But that's my treat. That's what I like once in a while. But it's not anything that.
Just the smell of coffee, oh, I love it. I'll go to a cafe and be like, it smells so amazing. Their aroma is beautiful. So here's my tips about caffeine. I have 2 tips. First of all, if you want to make it low as acidic, cold brew.
Okay.
Cold brew is a healthier alternative to any other coffee. Okay. It's less acidic than a normal coffee. And the second one, if you like doing espresso like on the stove, right? Because I know a lot of Europeans, we like doing it on the stove. So you know what you can do? I got this tip from a naturopath, a friend of mine in Florida. He said to add baking soda.
Oh. Okay.
To add baking soda. And then you know what happens? All of the particles lifts to the top. And then you scrape that off and it doesn't cause acidity in your system.
Didn't know that trick.
Yeah.
But
so
Megan said, Ticino tastes just like coffee without the caffeine and gives natural energy. You can get maca nut and it's delicious. Yes, I've heard Ticino, and it's a much preferred option than coffee.
Yes, Megan, isn't it the hickory root?
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
Hickory, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
That's
it. So it's a great alternative.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you for saying that.
We love it. We love it. It's great. So, okay. So where were we? We were talking about absorption rates, right?
Right.
Okay. So when you start repairing your gut, and you remember we were saying how 95% of your serotonin levels are in your gut?
Mm-hmm.
So that is regulated through everything. That's mental health, that's brain fog, that's that happy hormone that makes you feel good. It begins in your gut. And this is all your lymph nodes and your adrenals are all connected. So if you want your body to work at its maximum potential, you always have to look to your gut.
Yes.
Maria, let me ask you, does it sound ridiculous to say that everything we go through is connected to our gut?
No, it doesn't sound that at all. Very, it sounds very intelligently said. It is what it is. There's no way around it. And even if there's not enough science at the moment to show that, we will get to that point. Because 50 years ago, people were calling people insane that were saying that gut was what we wanted to look at. And now we know it's the first thing that we should be approaching, usually. I also wanted to say, because you said maximizing nutrient intake. So one little thing that I do, part of my lifestyle, that maximizes minerals, vitamins, amino acids, fatty acids, everything, is to eat sprouted food. Because when you eat sprouted food, you eat the food at the stage while it's still growing. So while it's still growing, all of those, molecules that a full on, let's say, broccoli would have are now into their smaller units. So let's say a full on protein is in its amino acid forms. Same thing with fatty acids, same thing with the carbohydrates. So your body can immediately start absorbing those things and not have to spend time digesting them and processing them. So a way to hack your nutritional intake is by eating a lot of sprouts or sprouted foods or even fermented foods. That's a good tip that I like to give everyone.
So that is basically raw living enzymes.
Living foods, full of enzymes, yes, that comes with its own enzymes.
Exactly. So okay, I want to talk about two things. Let's talk about being undernourished. Okay. I feel so many people think that you need to live in a third world society, or like what we would think in our minds, what undernourished means. But we are undervaluing that our society, North America, is very much undernourished. Can you speak a little bit about that?
So it's such a good point. We go to the supermarket and what do we see? Abundance. We have everything we can think of. Aisles and aisles and aisles and aisles of food. But when you test yourself, you are deficient in most of the nutrients and minerals you need. It looks like you haven't been eating and you're in a starvation mode, even though you eat every other hour of the day. Most people are eating as soon as they wake up and right before they go to bed with barely any breaks. And that's one of the most damaging things that you can do. Your body needs time to digest and heal after you eat. It's a complete myth that you have to constantly eat all the time. It's not how the body works. That's just a way for people to tell it to keep eating and keep buying foods. But yeah, that's why people are, like I said, 68% of Americans don't have enough magnesium. I think it's up to 70 something don't have enough folate. It's mind-blowing that they're constantly eating and all these things are lacking. So we are in a society that are eating foods that are high in calories and low in nutrients. That's why we call it junk food, because junk food, what it brings is calories and does not bring the minerals and vitamins you need with it.
Exactly. I love that you said that. This is ultimately junk food. And you know what I've been noticing? Like if you go to more of a health food store, right? That they have an array of, let's say, supplements and all of these things that they market as a health food. Why don't we touch a little bit on that?
Yes. Well, actually, it has actually been shown that up to 80% of what it's sold in a health store, it's actually not healthy for you. It's only that 20% inside that store that's actually beneficial to your body. So again, marketing is a great ploy to get foods into those stores and get people to go in there and just buy whatever they think they can buy because it's inside a health food store. But when you look at the ingredients and you turn to the back and see all of those palm oils, all of those refined stuff, all of those pretend to be vitamins that are synthetically made in a lab, that's all in a health store. And you're buying those items because it's inside a health store. So that's a great point, Tas. People, just because you want to go on a healthier journey doesn't mean that you have to buy everything that it's inside a health food store.
Exactly. And I like calling this greenwashing.
Greenwashing, I love that.
Right? They just say it's all healthy. And if you don't know, Maria, if you don't know and you go into one of these health stores and you look at the bottle, they seem healthy, right? Yeah. They seem healthy. They trick people into, okay, well, it says it's good for me. I have all the folate there. Oh, the vitamin C is there too. Oh, my zinc is there too. I am doing good for my body.
sad. What it's
And
doing, it's either just going in and out, like you say, expensive pee, or actually damaging the body, because we know that synthetic vitamin C, synthetic ascorbic acid is extremely damaging to the body, and it has been connected to certain, inflammations and processes within diseases. So you don't want to be buying vitamin C that doesn't come from a plant. You don't want to be buying any synthetic ascorbic acid. So.
exactly. You should get all of your vitamin C through food. Okay.
Yes.
And ascorbic acid actually has corn syrup.
Oh.
It's made with corn syrup, which is highly GMO. It's highly GMO, and it destroys the gut lining.
Mm.
So all of these supplements that people take, it does it causes so much damage to your body on a cellular level.
Yes. It's a shame. And the thing is, I don't know if people know, but the vitamin industry, the supplement industry, doesn't have to go through any type of FDA approval of anything. They can, if I wanted today, Tas, to make a vitamin and sell it tomorrow at the drugstore, I could, without no one telling me if what I'm saying is true or not. I could be saying it makes your bones strong, it improves your cardiovascular system, and it has not been proven to do that. So that's one of the industries that's the least regulated and causing a lot of harm, and it's a lot of money is behind it.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Okay, this is too important to not talk about. Okay, so don't they have to be FDA approved? Not at all, you're saying?
No, they can. You can put it out in the market.
Okay, but if I want to talk about food, I can't say that this sea vegetable will help such and such. But I can market something in a supplement and say this will help heal this.
The guidelines are so blurry and so bad that you can't say that a food that comes from the earth full of minerals and vitamins is going to be good for your cardiovascular system, for example. And you can't say that this supplement is going to help your bone, whatever. Like, it just makes no sense. And those things have to somehow improve. But obviously it has to be with time and people actually fighting against it. But it's true. Like, they don't have to do anything to prove that their vitamins actually do something.
Okay, do you guys hear that? Do you guys hear that? This is enormous. This is not just huge, this is enormous. They can say whatever they want to say.
Yes.
Okay? And we cannot say it through food. We cannot say this food help heal us. We cannot say that.
That's why when you choose to buy any supplements, you look for companies that are using real, raw, living foods, and that's your supplement. So you're pretty much just buying food to bring into your life. You don't want to be buying a synthetic supplement. You just have to think, is this coming from a plant? Is this real food? Okay, I'm buying it because this is real food. That's how anyone should be buying supplements. I don't like to call it supplements because it's still food. Like when I tell someone, you should be 100% including chlorella or spirulina in your diet. And people are like, oh, I have to talk to my doctor because that's a supplement. Absolutely, that's not a supplement. That is an algae that comes in the sea or in the lakes, and you eat it as food. It's the most primal form of food that you have on the planet. You don't go ask your doctor if you can eat ice cream. You don't go ask your doctor if you can have a bagel. Why are you asking your doctor if you can eat one of the most beneficial foods on the planet, actually the biggest superfoods on the planet?
Did you know that chlorella, sorry for cutting off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Did you know that chlorella?
Did you know that chlorella was the first organism known to man?
Yeah.
This is the first, this made our atmosphere. Chlorella made our atmosphere. Like, what is wrong with people? They need to get back to basics.
Yeah, back to basics. Back to the first unit of life that actually brings the same life into your body. When you look at companies that do their proper research, I love this. When you have a company that is, for example, selling you chlorella, and they do their own lab work, and they have all of the studies from their own work showing you that indeed this is not toxic, this is not polluted, indeed this can help regenerate. When they have those studies behind their products, you know that they are like a company with good values. They want to show you, like, I'm not here to sell you and make money. I'm here to give something that brings life into your life.
Exactly. And it's still awareness and education, right? So like whenever I tell people, I'm like, you need to start introducing high alkalizing foods into your life in through the power shake, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the power shake is 14 organic ingredients. These are superfoods. These are foods that are going to feed you on a micronutrient level. They're like, oh, I need to check with my doctor. I need to go find out because I'm ingesting this. And I'm like, okay, did you check with your doctor before you had that muffin this morning?
Exactly. But I do want to say something. I don't want to say that don't check with your doctor. Yes, bring that information into your doctor. They need to know this too. So it's amazing to involve our doctors in our choices and let them know that this is something that you want to put in your body. It's great to do that. But to ask for permission when it's a basic food full of minerals and vitamins, that just simply doesn't make sense to me. Unless you suffer from something very particular that is a thyroid problem and you do need to know how much seaweed or not you can take, then yes, ask. But like if you're fine, you don't have to ask for anything. You can add these foods into your diet. It's food.
Exactly. No, do check with your doctor. That's a great advice. You should. But I mean, don't take everything they say at face value. Do your research as well. Today, on my morning call this morning, we were talking about something very interesting. I want to bring it to your attention. How in Canada, I'm going to specify Canada, that you can actually, organic farmers can pay $5,000 to get an organic label without even having organic farming.
And that's the tea. Honestly, what? But I mean, this is the things that we need to know, right? This actually really annoys me because as someone who cares about what they're putting in their body, I'm currently depending on labels to know if it's good for me or not. And when this starts to be, corrupted, how am I supposed to live my life knowing what I'm putting in my body? It's just, it's fraud. What are they doing? And even like, oh, by the way, Taz, did you know that organic doesn't mean that it's been tested for glyphosate anymore? It's one of the pesticides that you don't have to test for or something like that. I'm like, what? So how can it be organic if you don't test it for a glyphosate, for a pesticide? I don't get it.
Okay, great point. Great point. Okay, so I like using this resource. It's called the Detox Project. Okay,
Say it again.
the Detox Project.
Okay.
I'll put it in the chat. The Detox Project. This is a website that does third-party testings. Okay, it tests everything for glyphosate.
Okay.
So I like using this resource. Just because something says organic means nothing to me. I go and check and see if they tested it. And if they have their gold stamp, I feel safe. I'm like, I'm good. Yeah. So we have resources. We just need to look for it. And we have the purchasing power.
Yeah, we do have the purchasing power. And the more we purchase from these companies, the more they'll grow. And the more other companies have to fulfill the same expectations.
Yes, and standards.
Like what's the expression? We use our dollar to make a point. It's like that.
We vote with our dollar.
We vote with our dollar, exactly. And that's the case. And people are like, yeah, but it's just me. It's just me. I'm not going to change anything. Listen, it's not just you. It's you and someone you talked about, and that person's going to talk to someone else, and that's how a movement starts. So you have to start independently of what you think you can reach or not.
Absolutely. Like I started this healthy lifestyle 12 years ago, guys. 12 years ago. Every restaurant I would go to, I always said, I called out a chef. Every single time I went to a restaurant, and I'm like, what do you have that I can eat? And I'm like, you're a chef, go make me something that I can eat. One person.
What was the response that you used to get?
What would they say? I would say I'm vegan. What do you have? What can I eat? Okay, we have fish. Beautiful. I'm vegan. I don't eat fish. Oh, we have gnocchi. And I'm like, yes, I don't eat cheese because usually I cheese gnocchi. And I'm like, they were like, okay, so what do you eat? I'm like, vegetables. You can make it flavorful. I'm like mushroom. I found chefs were starting to become lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they would just slab on some chicken or fish, and that's it. They're like, here. The veggies were like a side garnish, right?
It is. When it
Exactly.
should be the opposite, right? Like start looking at, for example, meat, fish. Start looking at that as the side dish, and your main dish is full of those vegetables and those other things that you can add to make the food fun.
Exactly. So I would challenge them. I'm like, this is what I eat. Go and make it
Don't make
delicious for me. Right. So they were like, okay, great. And they almost looked at it as a challenge. So then they started telling me, because I would do this all over Montreal. And whenever I was on vacation, I did this everywhere. And then they told me, they gave me their numbers, and they were like, whenever you come in, um, call me before and I will get a meal ahead for you.
Man.
I will prepare something ahead for you. So they started doing that. And then I guess people used to see, like they would bring out my food and they were like, what is she eating? What is she eating?
People would like, interesting. That's how we influence. And Giselle just said, being a chef is being an artist. They should be inspired and excited to cook for you. And that's exactly what I think. Like if you're a chef, you should be able to take up on a challenge of serving your client.
Exactly. But because they got used to serving clients who didn't ask questions what was going into their food, they just chose. And we can't be like that. We need to be vocal because what we put into our mouth, what does it do? It affects our health.
It's either disease or vitality. Which one are you going to pick today?
Exactly. Exactly. You are what you eat. The more you say that, the more you understand it. Don't look at food as something to just fuel you. Food is there to fuel you on a cellular level. You should be great. If you're eating something and you're feeling heavy and sluggish, it's not working.
Absolutely. And listen, you have so much control over your genes by just what you eat. You can change, you can literally activate, so turn on and off more than 500 genes with simply eating certain foods. So you can turn on genes that promote cancer and tumors, or you can turn them off and turn on those that protect you. So see food as actually the tool to tell your body what you want it to do for you as you get older. Do I want to age? Do I want to feel tired? Do I want to go into a wheelchair when I'm 80 years old? Or do I want to be living my best life, traveling the world, or farming, or playing with my grandkids and not feeling fatigued when I play with them? What do I want? What's my decision now as a young person? Because, oh my gosh, Taz, just remembered. I saw today in a conference that one single antibiotic pill can influence your gut lining for more than 18 years. 18?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, okay, so that's kind of the point I want to make. The choices you make today will influence how you feel in your 80s. So it's starting now to reverse that aging process.
You're 18 years. And I know we have Megan who's on the call right now, and she's like suffering so much from years of antibiotic. It's catching up to her.
Yeah.
Right?
We see people we see people going to the doctor for a viral infection, get antibiotics. They, have even urinary tract infection. You don't have to get antibiotic for that. There's so many ways for you to not have to do that. You just have to ask your doctor and tell them, is there a way that we can work together without using antibiotics? You have the power to also ask your doctor what you want. Yes, he has a lot of knowledge, but you can collaborate. And that's how healthcare should be. Not something that, yes, you're my doctor. Yes, I listen to everything you have to say. Yes, I don't think that you're saying anything that will damage me. That should be the way, but it has to be a collaboration between me and my doctor.
Absolutely. And if your doctor is not talking about your food, change doctors.
And that's not, I was going to say, like, you might find that really, intense. And you might find that extreme, but it's really not. Because food, like we said, it's the biggest tool we have to change our biology, to change our genetics. So if your doctor is not talking to you about that, and it's just prescribing, change doctors or get a second opinion, get a third opinion. Work with a functional doctor that looks at every place in the body to fix the problem you have, not just one.
Absolutely. And if your doctors are not talking about gut health Everything you have is always related to gut health. If you're not talking about gut health, change your doctor. It's funny something that Giselle said. She said that she heard this week that doctors are practicing. But isn't their clinics, aren't they called, this is my practice?
That's so interesting. I never thought about it that way. They are practicing. They are learning as they go. So they shouldn't be seen as the authority figure that knows everything that can possibly, happen in the world. They're just
Absolutely.
practicing.
Absolutely. Okay, you know what? I want to talk about something. Okay, I want to talk about skin health. I know we're going off topic, but I want to talk about this. Okay, um, I spoke to someone this week who's a skin specialist. Okay, and like they walk around with their lab coats. Not a dermatologist, but skin specialist. Okay, and I feel whenever someone walks around with a lab coat, they feel some authoritativeness.
Yeah.
Like I live my life in a lab coat. I choose not to wear one anymore.
I could use mine too.
Me too.
People are going to start taking me seriously.
Right, right. So listen to this. So she was telling me about how much people are doing Botox now and how she highly recommends it for people who are in their early 20s. How you should start Botox when you are 21. So this is going to be preventative measures.
It has become a thing, unfortunately, especially because everyone looks up to the influencers on social media. Everything looks so perfect. We get all of these fillers, lip fillers. I mean, you do you, but like just know that that's not the way for preventative measures. That's not how you prevent aging at all.
It's not. We need to scream this, okay? I think tomorrow let's do skin health. Let's talk a little bit about it now, but tomorrow I think that could be a great topic. So she tells me, she's like, oh yeah, so it's great because you start at 21 and it's going to prevent wrinkles. And I'm like, what? That makes no sense to me. I'm like, and she's like, from my medical and professional stance, that's what I think. And I'm like, it was ridiculous when she said that to me. I was like, the way she said it was so convincing. I'm like, if I wasn't a professional myself and knew the actual truth, I would be like, oh yeah, maybe she's right. Maybe what she's saying does ring truth.
And I was going to say, like, it's their specialty. So it's what they learn, their entire specialization. So they attach to that knowledge as well. It's like you're a doctor and you should also be a scientist behind being a medical doctor, because what gets you your information is the science behind that. So also use that, need to want to know more and keep looking outside of your own specialization, because doctors cannot stop from learning. They can't stop that journey of their lives. They will forever be doctors learning and practicing, like Giselle said. So it turns me off a lot when I see doctors that haven't touched or read literature or research since they finished their medical literature. That puts me off immediately. I'm like, you have no idea what you're doing. Bye. Being
exactly.
but that's how I feel.
And we do too much damage to the skin. And she said more, okay? She was telling me, she's like, so if you start in your 20s, you're going to prevent wrinkles to happen when you're older. Okay, guys, I'm 39. I've never had anything.
No Botox, no nothing. And look at that skin, glowing.
Yeah. And like, there's nothing. I don't wear foundation. Like I mean, when she said that to me, I was like, are you kidding? And then she's like, it's just like facials. You need to upkeep your skin with facials. I don't do any facials.
The things like people don't believe at all, because it's not their experience, that you can have a beautiful skin just by making an effort on what you put into your body, plus what you choose to do as a practice of sleep, a practice of meditation, stress relief, all of those things, because obviously everything impacts everything. But because people are living such stressful, negative lives, they are aging 10 times faster than what they should. And how does this skin look like? It looks like obviously droopy, obviously, getting those wrinkles earlier, getting those sunspots a lot easier. And those things can be simply prevent it just from, food and lifestyle alone. And Taz is a good example. She has tested on herself how to get that skin just through food and lifestyle.
I had sunspots on my entire face.
Yeah.
Like complete, like, okay, we're going to get into this tomorrow because like we could deep dive into this because I get these questions each and every day, Maria. People telling me, this is what they tell me all the time in my inbox. No, Taz, tell us what you actually do.
Yeah. And it's funny. After one of our lives, someone asked me about your age. And I was like, she's 39. Doesn't she look incredible? And someone was like, by the way, I don't know this person. She has Botox for sure. She's not telling you. And I'm like, dude, you do not understand the effort that this girl has put into her lifestyle for her skin to look that way. Yeah. You don't understand it because you simply don't have the capability to see beyond what you're doing. So you don't agree with what she's saying. But I mean, you're the proof. And you have to tell us what you do. Obviously, I know what you do. We have to tell the world what you do. And maybe we should talk about the challenge that you did once.
Yes.
And how that affected your skin. But we can talk about that on another day because we're
tomorrow
an hour long live.
Oh my God.
They're supposed to be 15 to 30 minutes.
Oh my God. This is like, we can talk for hours. Like, you're amazing. I love having conversations.
Yes, I love having conversations with people in the same mindset, in the same awareness, in the same, just being open-minded, going beyond what the news is telling you, go beyond what like an individual that supposedly has authority tells you. You'll be your own authority.
Exactly. Oh, so I can't wait till tomorrow. Okay, we're gonna figure out what time we'll chat.
Yes, and we can talk about skin. How gut health affects the skin, how you have that incredible, amazing skin. Because again, you should always listen to someone who lives what they say and not someone who tells you to do something that they've never done.
Exactly. Like, guys, no highlighter. I wear no highlighter. This is when you glow from within.
Yes.
I swear to you. You guys inspect my skin. Like I get those questions every day. People are not convinced, and I'm not here to convince people. I'm like, it's the truth.
The truth.
So I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yes. See you tomorrow. Let's talk about skin, and let's talk about how to get amazing, non-aging skin every single day by what you eat and what you do.
And reverse aging. Because my skin might look amazing today, but believe me, it was not. I did not have good skin. I used to cake on that foundation like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Okay, I love you, Maria. Thank you, everyone, for being on. Mwah. Much love. See you guys tomorrow.
Hey everybody, and thank you so much for watching and being part of this community. If you haven't already, just be sure to subscribe. You're going to get weekly videos on the most important health topics and daily practices you need to be applying in your life so that you can just start thriving instead of simply surviving.